Matt.
Here.
Ken.
Here.
Dennis.
Here.
Doug.
Here.
Karen.
Here.
And Kevin is here also. So to start this, Howard, our interim superintendent, has a presentation here. It's called Truth and Taxation Budget Hearing. And so he is going to take the mic and explain what we got going on.
Good evening, board and community. Tonight is before we can adopt our budget for 21-22, we need to hold a truth and taxation hearing, and that's what we're having tonight. Our main purpose is to say what the local millage is going to be that's going to be collected that reflects what that we put in the budget. I prepared a couple slides for you to I would just for you and the community to be able to see the screen. This is for you. We'll go through it fairly quickly, but I'm going to start with 2021. We'll go to 21-22, and then we'll show some things as it relates to the tax collections and so forth. So, in local sources, I thought it'd be interesting. Is you can see what the 18 mills generates for us. This year, that brought in $1.4 million, almost $1.5 million. You'll see gate emissions. Gate emissions was down a little bit because of COVID this year. Miscellaneous income and oil royalties. You see, we make a lot of money on the working pump that's out there. And miscellaneous income is a lot of that is tied to the technology. Tablets are sold back and forth and so forth. And there's some other issues that come up with that. State aid was about $8.5 million. As you know, we all pay 6 mills on our local to our township. To our township, when we pay our taxes, we pay 6 mills on our state equalized value. That goes in, and then the clerk distributes the money to the state accordingly. So the state total sources that we receive is a little bit over $8.5 million. Federal sources for this year, I thought you would like to see on here. Here's where COVID-1 came in. Remember that number? The $118,000, $118,735. We had federal source district COVID costs, cleaning materials, and so forth. And then the relief funds were $370,340. That number was right here. That's now, so for a total of $763,185. That's what's in our budget. Incoming transfers, other revenues, special ed millage, Medicaid, sales of fixed assets, totals a little over $157,000 for $11,075,175 in total revenues. That's this year's budget. Our 21-22, you'll see that similar categories. The 18 mills is going to bring in 1.5. The total is 1.8 for local. State sources is reflected of an increase that we're projecting per student. I can tell you that I think we're being very conservative based on what the House and the governor both have tentatively agreed to. If the Senate does something like we're hoping they're going to do this week, there's a potential that's going to be significantly more. It's going to be a real windfall year for McBain Public Schools. But that's going through the process as we speak. This is a big week for us to see what happens with that. But we have not, I want to emphasize, we have not reflected that in our revenues. We've taken a modest student membership increase, kept our enrollment a little bit up, projections, which I think we're going to come real close to hitting, if not exceed, and that reflects in the state aid monies, $8.8 million, sir. The federal sources, you can see what we've, I wanted to point this out to you. Here's COVID-2. We were told that COVID-2 monies are totally being released now. We haven't seen those yet, am I correct, Lisa? But all those are coming to us. Of that, there's still 130,000 that we have not, it's on your budgets when we look at it at 7 o'clock on the bottom of the 21-22 budget. We have a note on there, but we've taken some of it and put it into next year's budget, but we still have held back. And since this was built, we've been reassured that that's going to be released. That happened this past week on Friday. So as you come at looking at transfers and so forth and so on, our total revenue is $11,162,000. The debt millage overview, this is good news. This year, our millage rate was 1.92 mils. Right here, our debt millage rate for this year is going to be 0.72 mils. Our debt payoff is slated for May 1st, 2022, so you'll be out of debt. And the 18 mil renewal election will be held in August of next year of 22 for the renewal of the 18 mils on businesses and second homes, second property. And you renewed that, I think, in 2020. I'm going to show that to you in a second. This is last time you asked them for that. As a reminder, this was all part of Proposal A in 1994. And when we went away from McBain, probably at that time, was paying me 24, 25, maybe 30 mils. I don't remember. I was here fighting for the millage. But when Proposal A, we rolled back to homes to 6 mils. We increased sales tax by 2 cents from 4 cents to 6 cents. And then they put the 18 mils that we vote that on businesses and second non-homestead homes, second homes for people. So that's just I know you're all up to speed on that, but that's just a quick overview. Our debt millage overview, I thought you'd be interested in seeing this. I'm going to go over here and you'll see our individual townships, the amount of taxable value. So our total district has a little over $281 million. So you take 1 mil on that against $1,000 is $1. So you put 001, you put 006, or 0.018 on this number right here and multiply it, you'll come out real close to the 18 mils income that you're voting on. You're going to see that's in the budget. That's where it comes from. On the top here is our 1.2 assessment, our non-homestead operational, and 18 mils, and then what it brings. So you got non-homestead, non-homestead, and 18 mils assessed, and so forth. That's coming up with your income. This is when the different things we're working under that we're retiring this spring. The tech bond, debt retirement, 2016, 2018 is when those elections were held. You see the millage, the total is 1.92, and total amount that could have been gotten 6.5 years and expires in 2022. Our amended budget for 2021 is, you'll see that if I look at revenues, this is what we, 62420 with the 1920, this is adopted for this year for 2021. We amended it in November, and this is the number we're coming in at tonight, $11,075,175. Wait with me? Here's our expenditures, the same thing. We have on the top what we started, what you adopted a year ago. what we have, what we did the first amendment in November, the amendment tonight, and we're expenditures, as you look at all the different things, I'm going to go one more page, and it comes over here, and we're projecting 207,460 deficit. We started at 768. Everybody with me? When we close the books, when we close the books, I'm predicting that you will. Whoops! I didn't mean to do that. Wrong side. Come on, Howard. Go back. When we close. No, I jumped ahead. I'm sorry. We'll get back. Yeah, I guess I did that right. Here we go. This number, which is for this year's budget, I believe will be close to balance. We typically have $150,000 to $300,000 that is in the books, that when we close the date, say we're going to close the books on June 30th, there's monies that are left in there. Next year's budget that you'll be working on is, we're projecting at this point this number. I think that based on what's happening in the state, based on what I just illustrated, we're going to be very, very close at the end of 21-22. Based on what we know right now, you'll be very close to a positive budget also, fund balance. So with that said, fund balance wise, we are projecting that we're going to finish the year a little over $2 million. That's about 18% fund balance, I believe, last time I checked. And then for next year, our projection will be 1.8, and I think it'll be very close to 2 million when we get through with that. Mr. President, that is our truth and taxation hearing. I'd take any questions that the audience might have or you might have.
Okay. Thanks, Howard. I guess we'll start with anybody from the board that has any questions for Howard.
I just saw that the preschool was listed under the school's budget, and I thought that was going to be separate.
Say it one more time, Becky.
So the preschool was listed on the budget.
Yes.
I thought that was going to be a completely separate entity.
Oh, good question.
That's how we did it before.
Okay.
So it runs so that we actually have a revenue line just dedicated to preschool, and then we also have several expense lines dedicated.
Okay.
Well,
I just don't want them to merge. Like, I just want to make sure that it's a separate.
It's still separate line items.
Okay.
That is the way most of them run.
Okay.
We're pretty early on, but this is the way we ran it the last time we ran a preschool. Classroom, 4 sections, but it all ran through general fund, and I double checked with state aid office, and
Okay.
we are correct in running
Okay.
it the way we are.
Thank you.
So am I right, Lisa, that revenue and those expenses relating to the preschool are still very identifiable? I mean, they are all coded separately, so with a little bit of effort, you could do a, yeah.
State of Michigan for the account numbers. So in our system, it's a 118. That's preschool expenditures, preschool revenue. We have to do it that way for the state.
So you could do a revenue versus expenses comparison very easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're still pretty early on.
Sure.
Right.
This is all for next year, so there's really nothing in there. But we could run preschool reports strictly on that function code.
Do they have like pieces then, like a little bit of the cleaning budget, a little bit of like your budget, a little bit of that is all coming to the preschool or no?
Not quite that far right now.
Okay.
Staff in there and some supplies and items, and we're still kind of building. We really don't know what we still need to build into that.
Okay.
I don't normally, I'm thinking operations will just go to the operations line. When you start to have to do indirect on everything, It gets messy.
Right.
And if you go over that cap, there's penalties and.
Okay.
I don't do indirect costs with food service.
Okay. So I just wonder, if we have to, all of a sudden there's an extra, we need to hire somebody extra for this, we need to hire somebody extra for that, and it's because there's pieces of it that are being utilized in the preschool, that I think that's something we want to make sure we know. Okay.
And we are very cognizant of the fact that we want that, the goal is to break even.
Absolutely.
I mean, the goal is really to make a little money, but if we can break even, that is really the goal.
Yep.
And we can easily run those reports and see where we're at.
Okay. Thank you.
Great question, and it's new, but everything is very audible, and all the line items are there. Anything else? I don't even know what time it is.
We should ask the public if they have any questions, but I'm guessing no. So yeah, I guess that probably concludes our budget hearing. If no further questions, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Supported.
We have motion and support. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'd just like to say, Kevin, I had a chance to look at some of these things with Lisa, and I'm terribly, terribly impressed by the staff that we have. Man, she has it down. I just need to compliment her.
Yep.
School finances is not easy. Gotten a lot harder in the last few years, but she's on top of it.
Yep.
Thank you also for being here, Lisa.
Yes, yes.
I guess we will reconvene in a few minutes.